So over the weekend with the NBA All-Star Weekend going on, a lot of the conversation and a lot of the detractors to the NBA product this year is a lot of complaining about tanking and complaining about what the NBA currently is offering to fans. I think you could say that tanking is an issue. I think you could point to load management being an issue. I think you could also point to the players just not giving a damn in the regular season. And from this point on, from the All-Star break to the end of the season, you see a different gear kind of notched up by the players. Like, this is go time now. If you're a basketball fan, an NBA fan, teams actually start to get into a different gear post All-Star break as they head towards the playoffs. And then once you get to the playoffs, it's a different level as well. There's a lot of criticism being flown and thrown at the NBA right now. Tanking is first and foremost as the problem. Now, Tom Haberstroh online and on his podcast, and he's written about this, that one way that you could eliminate this tanking conversation would be removing the NBA draft altogether. And essentially, the way that I would view that is that it would resemble how European soccer is kind of modeled, right? Like, players are coming out of college or out of school, and then they can sign with an academy, and then they are just a part of that team, that franchise, for the future. Where here in the States, kids go to college, you're a college athlete for 3-4 years, or in some cases, 9, like what we saw last year, the kid from Montana who's going back for a 9th year of college football, which is insane. But then you go professionally at a certain point. Baseball does have the minor leagues. Kids could go from high school straight to the minors. Yeah. And they could play for a professional franchise and be getting paid at an early age. They don't have to go to college, but some do. Is eliminating the draft altogether the way to fix tanking in the NBA?
No, I don't think so, because I think that when you have essentially free agency out of college, if you're going to still mandate a rule that you have to go to college or that you have to be out of high school for at least a year so you can go to the G League or you can go overseas for whatever, you're creating free agency. And whether it's shoe companies, whether it's the best of the NBA, they will control who will be able to sign these players, and you will create the problem that baseball has. You will create the haves and the have-nots. And the NBA, we've seen teams, whether it's Cleveland and getting LeBron, whether you want to believe the draft is rigged or not. It's a conspiracy theory that people can believe or cannot believe. The Cavs getting LeBron, the Bulls getting Derrick Rose, the Thunder acquiring 1,000 draft picks and then flipping their team around, and now they're the best team in the NBA. They do that because of the draft. If you do that, no one is going to go play in Cleveland if you get rid of the draft. The Cavs don't get LeBron James if there's no draft. No one is going to go play for the Utah Jazz if there is no NBA draft. Everyone's going to go play for the Texas teams because there's no state tax. Everyone's going to go play for the teams in LA because they're going to have the money. Everyone's going to go play for the New York Knicks because they have the money if they want to spend it.
So Haberstroh in his piece on Yahoo points out that if you look at college basketball right now, because of NIL, the top players can choose where they go, and they're getting paid lots of money. And his point in the column is that you have multiple players who are at the highest level who did not go to Kentucky, Duke, North Carolina, and the biggest of big schools, the Blue Bloods, who would be your expected teams to land the top players.
Okay.
You're talking about top players that have gone to Rutgers or BYU or Oklahoma State or Georgetown or other schools, and that his point in the column is that just because it would be a free agency, that there is no guarantee that kids would see a team that's loaded, say, the Oklahoma City Thunder, and say, well, I'm going to go there because, like, you're not going to play right away because you have all these other great players there to begin with. So you would probably go somewhere where you could carve your own path.
That's college, though. It's completely different from professional sports.
But that's what he is comparing it to, because now, for the most part, college basketball is professional sports.
I understand that.
And same with college football.
But Rutgers can get one big donor to donate to their NIL fund and then go out and pay for a player. You know, BYU can get one big donor to pay for their NIL fund and then go out and get a player. You know,
the
Knicks,
NBA still has a salary cap. So,
I understand that.
So if teams are loaded and locked in,
I get that.
Like the New York Knicks right now would have to move pieces in a theoretical world to create space to land that number one pick type player.
Yeah.
So you would, to some extent, as a franchise, have to decide, do we want to play for the future, or do we think our team is good enough now to try and win? I think it would create a interesting competitive situation, because like a team like the Spurs or the Thunder or like even Detroit right now in the Eastern Conference, why would you go spend for this year's draft class when you have arguably the best team in the conference?
Okay. And
like
then
the Rockets, they're a team that's closer to winning now than, say, developing, right? They went out in the offseason and they got Kevin Durant. So if you look at the way that the league is formulated and how teams are put together, the bottom teams, like there is a good chance that someone's never going to want to go play for Utah. That's possible.
But you're also going to have owners that are going to fall into the baseball trap of, well, now I don't have to try. Now I can just sit back and make my money and just not try. And I can just be bad.
Well,
collect a paycheck.
Those owners are already doing that.
Yeah, but now you don't have. Now there's no, like, there was a reward before. Like now you can say, well, we're bad, but look what we got you. We got you this pick. And now you can come see this pick, and you can come see this number 1 draft pick or number 2 draft pick. But if there's not that, then you're just bad. But you could still, make money as a franchise because teams don't lose money. No one loses money on professional teams. Any team, baseball, football, basketball, you don't lose money on teams. And so if you get rid of the draft, there's no hope for fans. And then that's the real problem. Then you have no interest whatsoever. You can't get rid of the draft because then you have no option for fans to be invested in their teams. Like there's already fans that are losing interest in their teams because they think their teams are in the middle. Look at Chicago Bulls fans. Look at some of these teams that are perpetually in the middle and are saying, well, we're trying, but we're not trying. Like Heat fans, Heat culture, they want to try, but they've also only been in the play-in for the past, 3-4 years? They've constantly been in the play-in?
Yeah.
Because they can't get a way out?
Yep.
So you can say you're trying, but you can also be perpetually in the middle and be an NBA middle hell right there.